Hello, I'm Siobhan, digital nomad currently in Quito, Ecuador. Welcome to the Panelist Spotlight for the Digital Nomads Beyond 50 2021 Summit, a virtual event of information and inspiration for those choosing to travel and work location independent. Learn from the experts and the experience about your options, resources, and actions to make it happen. Come on, you know you're ready for this.
Hello, today we have with us ITIAH Thomas in this panelist spotlight for the Digital Nomads Beyond 50 Summit, which will be held the mornings of June 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Welcome, ITIAH. ITIAH, you, what I know about you is that that you were raised in New York originally. You have traveled 54 countries, lived in 3 countries, and currently you have been living for the past 5.5 years in Australia. In fact, you are literally on the verge of being sworn in as a new citizen of that country. And congratulations on that. I know that that's not always easy to go through the hoops to gain residency in a foreign country. You have managed 13 job changes, 3 career changes, entire career changes, and many times with remote work in all of that mix as well too. And you've credited your success with all of that in your innate ability to develop excellent networks with people who are influential in foreign countries, which will be that we're going to want to hear more about that particular skill, I'm sure. Now, as you were watching the upheaval of 2020, particularly in the United States as well as the world, one of the things that you saw is that many people making the decision to make changes in their lives, from either professional changes as well as international location changes. So using your own very well-honed skills, you're now helping prepare others to make the leap for lives that will be much more fulfilling and aligned to what they desire. And we are all very much looking forward to hearing, ITIAH, about what is going to be discussed and learned during your Q&A at the summit.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for that introduction. So I'm really happy to be here, Siobhan, to be able to share this. I guess maybe first is to answer the question that you kind of threw out there in terms of how I've been able to create these networks and do that a couple of times over. And for me, I think it's just that I think finding key people of influence, I feel like people are like, they need to already be in that career, they need to already be in that space in order, in that space, I mean, in that industry or in that physical space in that country, in order to do that. And that actually keeps people, I guess, from reaching out and understanding what they might actually need to do to even break into that industry, and if they even like it. And so I feel like that's been something that's been really key for me, and as a part of my research as well. And in that time of creating, getting to know them, telling them, being honest, like, hey, I'm new to this space. I want to understand more about it. I want to understand more about how you've been able to excel in it. So, right, I'm giving them this platform to be able to speak for themselves, about themselves, and really just saying, like, how is it that I could give back to them? Maybe not in that immediate sense, but I actually didn't try to find how it can be mutually beneficial to them, as well as like, that's just a way of finding a hidden job market, and people end up becoming your advocate and your referrers. And so that can never happen too early. And so that for me has been just a really key thing in being able to break in as quickly as I've been able to in different regions and different industries. So that's that part. And so, but yeah, I guess more holistically, I really wanted to kind of just help people who were feeling like they're, even if, you know, COVID didn't exist, I was still finding that people weren't able to just pick up and go. There was still a career, something about how are they going to earn money and support and sustain their lives abroad. That really was a fear that was weighing on people and kept them home maybe longer than they wanted to go, or kept them from leaving at all. And so I was just really became something that for me, I just kind of maybe took it for granted that I moved in those spaces as often as I did. And I was like, well, hey, I want to be able to help relieve that as a barrier for people, right? So I wanted to help them understand how they could become more financially secure about their move and transition careers with certainty without starting from the bottom. And because that also is something that keeps folks from being able to step out into that space, because it's like, oh God, like what happens? I have to do this all over again, right? I'm of this age, I'm, had this experience already, like how do I step into that space again, right? And so that also kind of keeps people from really potentially not even pursuing what they want. And then finding enjoyable work that really aligns with how and where people desire to live. And so you can do this kind of, it's a repeatable process. I've called it an art and a science. The art about it is doing the work that helps you really align and identify what is it that you want for yourself as your own life goals, and then start to frame your career within that and the skills and the strengths that you have and want to continue using. So when I work with people, we spend a lot of time in that upfront in what I call the art, which is that reflection space, and that internal research and external research with people. And then the science of it, or what's become a science to me, is then the next part of that, which is the more of that research, refining your collateral, your competencies, really also refining what is it that you actually think you might want, right? But now that you're talking to people, now you're doing more research, how do you maybe narrow in that a bit more? But also with this overarching feeling that it's still in alignment with what you actually want and desire from your life more holistically, and how all that, career-wise fits into that. And really just about how to help people really be able to display that and to be able to attract their desired job or role or industry, and what that job hunting, I guess, process is like, but also to have as many of wide reaching methods to be able to do that as well. I see people often referring just on to job boards. And so anything we're talking about also just maybe other different ways that people can go about that. That's just not the default, but a part of that is also some of that network of creating beforehand and really laying the work for that to open up the opportunities in there, which has been super helpful as to how I've been able to break into spaces once again. And then also just about stabilizing, right? Yeah, like that's kind of some of the things that we'll be chatting about during a talk.
Excellent.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, excellent. That really has given us a good overview of what to expect, and I'm sure that people really have a lot of excellent questions to share with you of their own, because the whole point of the Q&A Lounge is to come with your questions and leave with your answers. And I'm sure you'll be able to help people to a considerable extent with your expertise as well as your experience. Thank you so much, Ithia. We look forward to seeing you again come June.
Awesome, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.